You look amazing.
Thank you. As do you.
Thank you.
How long have we known each other?
We've known each other since the year 2007.
Insert YouTube video here.
Peep it though. Check it out. 09? Giving them hits. Like pow, right in the kiss. Pow, right in the kiss. Pow, right in the kiss. Pow, right in the kisser. You know what I mean? 10 shots. 10 shots.
Yo, we're about the most talented bunch of kids I ever met in my life. You ever hear him falsetto notes?
Yeah.
Can you give me a short rundown of what you've accomplished musically thus far?
I started making music at 11. I made my first song at 11. Putting my mother on the chorus of my first song was probably like the biggest accomplishment for me when I was that age. Had my own artists by the time I was 15. Been producing artists all my life. I have been signed by a Grammy Award-winning music producer who used to make a bunch of the songs that I used to listen to growing up. I've been able to work with Miguel. I've been able to work alongside Ryan Leslie, Raekwon of Wu-Tang, Busta Rhymes, Melissa Etheridge, Joey Badass, Emmy Award-winning actor Jarrell Jerome, Jordan, singer-songwriter. I have done many shows. I've done A3C 3 times. I've done BET, Music Matters. I've done Showtime at the Apollo. I have headlined my own shows. I've done my own art exhibits. I have opened up for Too Short. I've opened up for Jadakiss on tour. I've opened up for Kendrick Lamar with my friend Apollo Ali. I've DJ'd parties from ages 10 until now. Man, I've been nominated for some awards.
Is that a tear? Is that a I'm crying because I'm sitting here thinking about? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It probably should be, but you know me, I'm pretty insatiable. So, you know, after all of that, there's more that I need. I need more. I'm grateful for it all, but I need more, and I want more, and I will get more. But all of that, man, it's just it's crazy because when I was little, I knew it, but I never thought that I'd be. It went so fast. All of that just went so fast. Everything that I've done, you know, you have your slow moments and you have your grand moments that feel like they last forever, and they do last a long time. Those great moments, but it all feels like warped speed. It just went by so fast, and now I'm here. Now I'm here, and it's like, whoa! I just did all that.
And when you say now I'm here, you're referring to the fact that you are now owner and operator of Bridgeport LLC?
Yeah, that, and just here as a person in the position that I am, who I am, is almost the same person, not in a bad way, almost the same person that I was at 11 years old, which was the guy that always knew that I was going to do music for the rest of my life. Here I am, I'm doing music and never gave much energy to anything else but music. And my life shows it. I have the receipts.
I wish I knew 11-year-old less. What?
Sit down, have a talk with my mom. She'll tell you all about it. She'll tell you all about
Listen, that was the perfect segue, because my next question was, I think that you did a phenomenal job articulating what you've done musically. It is most imperative that we take a closer look, go below the surface. There are so many people and experiences that have led you, guided you, supported you to getting to that point. So 3 points right now. Most importantly, I would like to hear your thoughts on your mother, your father, and your sister, and what you know they've done for you and instilled in you to bring you to this point.
I'm gonna start with my mom. My mom has been. She has been like. First of all, she's a soldier. Like she's just a soldier. Like, um, I hold her so high because she was literally the person. She was literally the very first person that knew, like, no, this is different. This is different. Like this is not just a phase. Like, he not just about to do music and then go on and do something else. Like, no, like this is it. This is what he want to do, and it's something here. And she used to tell me that people would be like, he'll grow out of it. It's a phase. He gonna like this couple months, and then he's still growing up. He gonna get into something else. She like, no, this boy, all he does is music. All he wants to do is music. It's all he care about. Um, so she was the very first one, and that jack of all trades characteristic that I have, it's all it all falls under her, and it's all because of her. I only get that because of her. And music was my main thing, but I would have not jumped into other things if it wasn't for me seeing her being that way. Like, my mom is just, she's always, from the time, even before I was born, she was always doing something and always trying to educate herself on various things. Even before I was born, she went to tailoring school. And then she went to another school called Top Wing. I think it was more like on the carpentry side, construction side. And then she was working for the water company. And you think at the water company it'd be the men handling the jackhammer. My mom was jackhammering, fixing water pipes, and it's crazy. So you know, she's into she's into um she's into art. She's in school for marketing right now. She just, like, I don't know, man. She's like the ultimate. She's literally Superwoman.
She's limitless and
She,
unstoppable.
she is limitless, and she's always been the one to make sure that I see the other side of things. Because a situation may look good, but she is going to point out the things that don't look good. If she doesn't like it, she's going to voice it, and you should probably listen, because later on down the line, she's going to wind up being right, and she's been right every time.
That sounded very familiar.
She's been right every time. Yeah, yeah. She used to make my show clothes. I used to do these little talent shows around Philly, around 11, 12, 13, 14. Just talent shows, little showcases and stuff. Sometimes with grown people, sometimes with kids my age. And she would make my show clothes, which were baseball jerseys with my name on the back. And they would be matching baseball suits, but on the back. But at that time, 11, 12, 13 years old, my name was Baby L.
That's news to me. Stop. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was Baby L. Yep.
Yes, sip on that. We're going to sip on that. Yes, baby L. Oh
So,
my gosh.
and the number on the jersey would be whatever age I was at the time. Because the selling point was that my music was this good and I'm this age, you
Wow.
know. So it would say Baby L 11. I started to bring it here today. It's getting real faded. The letters are coming off like, but
Wow, dude.
it was a white baseball jersey with red lettering. It was my favorite one. Yeah, my mom is. I love my mom. Like she's just
The
like
support is real.
yeah.
There are so many parents out here that are infusing their own individual beliefs, forcing them upon their children,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that, they didn't birth a child in order to own it and fully control it. They put a whole other separate human being onto the planet.
Right.
Yes, be their parent, but you are not taking mom and putting mom on this person in this person. This is still going to be Lester being Lester.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody, you can't change that. You're just going to end up being resentful and it'll be a waste of time and energy, etc.
Right.
So it's just so beautiful to me because I know how many parents are out here like, foot down. No, you're not allowed to be your own person. You do what we say.
Yeah.
And that is sad and scary.
It's important to let your child explore individualism. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for my parents, because as soon as they saw, like they were on it. I mean, like the first Christmas after them figuring out that I had realized I wanted to do something, was crazy. They got me a whole DJ set. You know, my mom and my stepdad, they they went all out. But then my dad, he was like, okay, so my dad was my manager. He was my manager, and that was like a self-proclaimed role. Like basically, like, nah, I'm the manager. So he just took that on, and yo, he just used to go so hard, like. So he would tell me print up a bunch of CDs. As a matter of fact, when I had the music label and I had everybody under the label, he wanted CDs of each artist on the label,
Mm.
several copies,
Oh,
so he
I
could go
remember that. Oh my goodness.
yeah, so he could go to work and sell them Jones, and he would go to work and all them CDs would be gone, and he'd come back and give me the money.
Mm.
Aside from um, buying my rap books and stuff like that, buying me Timberlands and just making sure that I was straight. On top of all of the wisdom that he used to give me, just like little gems here and there. Like he just used to, in his conversation, he used to drop these gems here and there, and that's why these things like they always stick with me. There's the gem of every six people know six people. Why he chose the number six, I don't know, but it's stuck.
Hmm.
But it's true though, and he he told me that to try to make me realize that you can, like, everybody's going to tell somebody about your music, and you're good, so they definitely going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Those six people are going to tell another six people about you, and those six people are going to tell another six people, and it's going to become a snowball effect. And before you know it, you out here and you blown up, you know. Um, so that was one thing. Another gem that stuck with me heavy was, and I actually, and all of my friends could vouch for this. He always used to say to me, "If I got it, you got it."
Mm.
So, that was always how I approached my friendships. I always approach my friendships that way, because I mean I know how it is to need something
Mm.
and then just want for it. You can't have it. But if I'm somebody that has it, I'm going to make sure I share, because
And to make matters even worse, to know that there's somebody in your network, in your community that has it.
right, right. That security is just, it's important. It's important, and I treat all of my friendships that way. It's like, no, if I got $5, I don't have $5. We both have $2.50. And that's just the way it got to be. Or a matter of fact, if you really need this whole $5 right now, probably gonna come across another $5. So take this $5, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I got that from both of my parents, but he just used to say that all the time. If I got it, you got it. And even at times where he was like strapped for money, and he ain't had that much money, but still coming over to make sure I had something to eat or make sure I could go buy some clothes. Be like, you sure? If I got it, you got it. Say, all right. So, yeah, man. Yeah, my parents, man. I gotta like, I would most definitely, I would not be this person. I would not be this person if it wasn't for my parents, yo. That's a fact. That is a fact, because they really, although I did horribly in school, they like gave me a pass because they knew it was just like, there was like, nah, there's something else. Like there's something else. We know what it is. We gonna wait it out.
But it's okay that it's not this.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. School just wasn't my thing. Wasn't my thing. Um, as far as my sister, man, my sister, she I admired what I admired about my sister is that she got moving like quick, like early. She was where I think my father instilled that in her. Like she got up and she started working. I remember I had to be like, she was 16 or 17 or something like that. I remember when she got her first job, her first car, her first apartment. I remember all that, and I just remember thinking to myself like, damn, I do want that. Like I do want to make sure that I'm financially stable. I want to have a car. I want to have my own apartment, but I wanted to get it from music,
Yes.
But I always admired my sister though, and of course, if we brothers and sisters, when y'all growing up, y'all gonna fight, but those were stupid little kitty fights.
Right. Right.
The minute that we both realized that we were mature,
Yeah.
fallouts, no fallouts with me and my sister. Um, you
She
know,
is a beautiful spirit.
she is. She is. She's definitely a beautiful spirit and a peaceful person.
Mm.
She's peaceful.
I feel like because you've had people like this in your immediate family, it's been easier to surround yourself with other, essentially peaceful people,
Mm-hmm.
people that are aligned with you.
Yes.
So the web expands. Let's connect the dots here. Your parents were ridiculously supportive.
Mm-hmm.
So supportive that your basement and your bedroom was no longer just a basement and a bedroom.
They made sure they helped me turn it into a music studio. Even when we lived back in Philly, we had this. Wow, I just never realized, but in Philly, on the second floor, there was this room. At first, me and my sister shared it, but then it just became my room because she started growing up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So then it became my room, but this room was, me and her stayed in the first half of the room, but then there was this other half of the room. So that first half became my room, but then the other half of that room, my
Mm-hmm.
parents helped me turn that into a recording studio, all types of keyboards and tape decks and microphones and cords and wires and records and turntables and mixers and
Cassette tapes.
cassette tapes. Cassette tapes. I started making music on cassette tapes.
Yes, DJ.
Yeah, it was real. It was real.
And then you came to Jersey
In 06.
at what age? And oh, really? You had only been there for like a year when we met?
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that. So again, connecting the dots, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
He had only been there for a year, and I came around in 2007, and I walked downstairs, and it was like, bedroom? What bedroom? This is just a music studio. This is just a recording booth and a mixer with the computers and the speakers and the keyboard, and there is no bedroom.
Happened to be a futon in there.
Happened to, oh, that's what that was? It wasn't just a sofa for the people to, okay.
It was a futon. It was the fold up joint. You know, when I got
Yo.
tired, I just folded it down.
Yo, when I got tired, he says, I don't think you slept. I remember, man, this is crazy.
What you remember?
Like, there was a moment, there was a reveal. There was a reveal of how many hard drives, external hard drives you had, and how much music was on them. For whatever reason, it stuck in my brain. I remember, like, oh yeah, this joint full. And then I got this one's 75% of the way, like, there, almost full as well. And I remember, how many gigabytes are full of what? Of nothing but beats. What? I remember. And like, I'm sorry if to some people this isn't a big deal. It is a big deal. And coming from little homeschooled me, I had not met someone so talented, driven, dedicated, determined, supported, invested in. You are the first young person. Yeah, okay, I know my uncle's a musician. He's 50. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You were the first young person that I could look across at, eye to eye, same level, and be like, we the same age, and you what? Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Oh man.
So tell me about what your parents' support was able to help birth. I want to hear about the birth of Wonder Music.
Mm-hmm.
And the A team that was involved. The first phone call you made to somebody like Apollo or Mikey or O Skis, like that first, yo, full track, right, 2-3 verses. Kenny, oh, I forgot about Kenny. Lord, you. Okay.
Yeah, man. So, well, once again, comes down to my parents. So my parents, that's what that support gave me, with that reassurance that they provided, gave me a shitload of confidence. Just confidence. I'm just this young kid. I got all of this confidence, all of the confidence in the world. You're not about to tell me nothing about what nobody did and what they can do. I had all the confidence. So 2006, we moved out of Philly, and now we come to Pennsauken. And actually, Wonder Music was a thing that I started when I was moving out of Philly, and it was just a name, a little concept I wanted. It's like, okay, I want this to be my label name, you know. And then we moved to Jersey, and I'm making music, and I'm going to school. I'm in 11th grade, and I'm battling everybody. I'm battling anybody that I can come across because I'm angry. I'm in Pennsauken, New Jersey, and at first I didn't want to be here, you know, because I was one of those people. I took so much pride in being from Philadelphia. I didn't want to leave at all. So I was mad. So I was in high school going around to people, yo, who rap? Who rap in this school? Who rap? So they point me to people. They'd take me to people, and then I'll battle them, right? So I'll battle them, and I'll just win every battle. And then before you know it, my name gets around the school. And actually, nobody really knew my name. They found out my name was Fame later. But I was being referred to as the short, angry boy from Philly that's battling everybody and shit and winning. So there was, at that time, there was a few good rappers in Pennsauken High School. But honestly, the best ones was probably me. And at that time, his name was Ace. Later on, he changed his name to Apollo the Great. but we never battled. I'd be on one side of the
Wow.
school battling, and Apollo would be on the other side of the school battling somebody at the same time. I didn't know this. I found this out later. Um, lunchrooms, all of that. So my name gets around as this short, angry black boy from Philly rapping. But when they found out that I think I showed, because nobody really knew that I made records. They didn't know that I was making beats and songs. So the first beat that I sold in Pennsauken, New Jersey, was to Apollo Ali.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think I was just like leaving a classroom. I don't know, but it was in the bathroom. He had recognized me, and he said, "Yo, what you listening to?" I said, "Beats." So I had headphones on. So I let him hear some beats, and he's like, "Yo, you made these joints?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he bought one. I was selling for $20. I didn't remember that. Like he remembered. I only know this information because he told me this.
Right.
I sold the beat for $20. That was the first beat I sold in Jersey. So I knew of him. I knew he had one of my beats. So I'm like, well, I need artists for this label. So I graduate high school in 07. I graduate, and I had already met my friend Mikey Santos.
Toast.
He changed his name to Sushi Phelps, but had already met Mikey Santos, and we was together almost every day making beats. You know, he's became one of my brothers, and he's like, yo, you know my cousin Ace. I'm like, that's your cousin? So he's like, yo, he trying to get back into the music thing, like he trying to take it serious. So I was like, all right, well, tell him come through, tell him come to the basement. And sure enough, he brought him through one day, and we started building. He, told me what he wanted to do, and I wound up producing his whole first project as a serious artist. It was called Hem One, History in the Making. And then from there, we literally became family. My mother calls him her sixth child. She called him Six.
Not know this story. This is amazing.
Yeah. And number 6 has been following me too. So, side note.
I hear.
Yeah. Mikey Santos and Apollo the Great, that's how they became a part of the Wonder Music label. And then Skis, we also went to high school together. I would just always see Skis in the hallway just walking around with a long chain. And everybody knew that he rapped, but he would never rap. He would never rap. I heard him rap once, and then he came to the basement. I told him I'd come to my basement because he lived in Camden. He wasn't far. Told him come to the basement, and then he just kept coming through. So all of these relationships are happening organically. And Noonie, I went to high school with Noonie too. And I remember hearing her sing in the hallway, and I just loved her tone.
Her tone is amazing.
It was like it was different.
I just remember wanting to sing like her. I don't sound like Noonie.
No, I really liked her tone, and she was a good writer. She was a dope writer. So I mean, that was that. And then actually, Kenny was one of the first people that I battled in Pennsauken. I remember we battled getting off of the school bus. Yes, I said the school bus. The cheese bus.
Not the cheese bus.
Yeah. But after I won the battle from Kenny, we started to become cool because I found out he lived around the corner from me. So we started to become cool, and then he said like, "Yo, you got to meet this girl. It's this girl you got to meet." I don't remember his words word for word because it was so long ago. He was like, "Yo, you got to meet this girl. She's a singer." I mean, it's like back then, like I said, I was trying to build a label, and I just wanted to produce. I wanted to produce records. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think it was a 3-way call. So he called me, and he was like, "Yo, I got that girl on the phone." And then
it was definitely a 3-way call.
It was a 3-way call, and then he plugged you in on the phone. And he plugged you in, and then
we talked about Neo records for like 2 hours.
Neo was my dog.
Yep.
Love Neo. Mhm. But yeah, I mean, from then it was just like it was effortless. Just like I had so much chemistry with everybody. Um, I was shocked at how much music you knew,
Mm.
because I was already like just addicted to music. Not only making it, but listening to it, studying it. And as you younger, your brain is a sponge. So I was just soaking up everything. So I knew a lot. But I was surprised that you knew that much about music, and the songs that you knew a lot. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So yeah, man.
Those
Uh,
were the days. That was a lot of fun.
a lot of music. As a lot of music was made. A lot of music was made. A lot of writing. A lot of free writing. A lot of free writing. It was.
I feel like he
Fun.
just said that with a little bit of a listen. Let me hold on. He just said that with a little attitude because I think he thinks I should start writing again because we were writing. I feel like he was just like, yeah, a lot of writing. I think that's what he just did. But anyway, yes,
I'm just
a lot
saying.
of.
I'm just
But
saying.
you want to know something? This is crazy. This is crazy. We're
What?
still going to bring this back to your parents. The
Hmm.
space that you created for artists to gather and write freely and be themselves, that space was so easily created because of the amount of confidence that your parents gave you to write freely, to create freely. I just really need them to understand, because I think parents, they just walk through and they think that they're doing their best, and they are trying to do their best. And I feel like their thoughts and their actions are so fast paced that it's hard for them to stop and realize the impact that they have
Hmm.
in both a good way and a bad way.
Hmm.
So let's just really, really, really shout it out. Look at how impactful the actions, the decisions, the beliefs of your parents truly were.
The trust that my parents had in me. I didn't even do anything to earn that trust, but just be into music every day.
Hmm.
I showed them what I wanted to do. I was serious about it. I made a decision, and from then they just trusted me. That trust was probably that trust was what made me be able to turn that basement into my sanctuary for music. And um, of course, no mom wants a bunch of people in the basement all of the
Right.
time.
Right.
But the immediate people that were coming through,
Yeah.
there were no issues,
Yeah.
because she trusted me, she trusted them,
Wow.
and she knew that we were making music. That's what we were doing. We were doing what we loved. We wasn't in the streets. We was out of trouble, and the people that I knew that was on the streets, I took them off and told them come to the basement.
Mm.
Skis in particular, just I wanted him to be in the studio because he was so talented. He was in the street. He was he was selling drugs, and I knew this, like, yo, this is not like you rap really good about what you do, but you have a gift, yo, like you.
Yeah.
So I just tried to make sure he stayed in the studio, and eventually I didn't really have to say much. Like he got it, he chilled out
Mhm.
and started to make music more, and he wound up the record I produced for him was called Pen to the Paper. It wound up being spent on Power 99 several times.
Oh gosh, I can't
That's an
stand it.
accomplishment that I forgot about. Those times really served as a great foundation for me.
Amen.
They added on to my confidence. They really did, those times. For real.
So that confidence allowed you to create, build the repertoire that you had, build upon the talent that you had, only to learn and grow and become even more talented. And then there was your time in New York.
Yes. Yep.
When you hear the when you hear that sentence, what does your mind do? And then there was that time that you spent in New York.
I feel so many emotions when I think about that time, because that time it was a lot of, man, it was happiness, it was starvation,
Mm.
it was sadness, it was arrogance, it was uh enlightening. I used to call it, I say two things about that time. That was college. That was college for me. That was college for me, and the studio that I was in felt like the army.
Wow.
So I feel like I went through college in the army. My time in New York, the 7 years that I spent, back and forth, was just, I would never, I wouldn't trade that time for nothing, yo. That time in New York was so valuable to me. So what started what started what started the New York thing was I was working at a job. I was working at Goodwill warehouse out here in Pennsauken. This was this was the year 2010. 2010, I started working at the Goodwill warehouse, and it was really a dead end job, like $7.50 an hour.
Mm.
And what I had to do, I had to pick up armfuls of clothes or whatever miscellaneous objects and throw them into a, a bale machine. So for the people that don't know what a bale machine is, you put the objects in or whatever it is, you push the button, and it's a machine that smashes things. So we had to put the clothes in or whatever was in the pile, put the clothes in there, it smashes it into an 1,100-pound block of whatever.
Oh my gosh.
So then you take wire. There was wire on the side of the machine. So you take wire, and then you put it through the machine, and then you come through the back of the machine, and then you put it through the bottom of the machine, and then you go in the front, and then you tie the wire. Three wires. You tie them up. Then a forklift comes around, picks up the 1,100-pound block, and um, dumps it somewhere. So I'm working this job. I'm working it in the summertime. No air, no nothing. Just slaving. For $7. Um, it was so depressing because you ever had to work a job with a broken heart? Right before I got that job, my father passed away in 2009. In May 2009, the day that he passed away was the day that we were supposed to go see an executive from Tommy Boy Records at a cookout. So we went to Walmart to buy me a rap book. Then we came back to the basement and I showed him my mixtape that I was about to put out. He said, "Let me get a copy." So I was like, "Damn, I'm not trying to leak it yet." So he said, "All right." So we just played in the car tomorrow. So that next day we were supposed to go to a cookout and meet this executive from Tommy Boy Records. I don't remember his name, but we were supposed to meet him and talk about some possible opportunities. Uh, but we didn't get to go to that meeting because that morning he passed away from a heart attack. And I honestly didn't even remember that we were supposed to have that meeting until years later. That got completely erased from my memory. Um, so, after recovering, trying to pull myself together, um, I was 19. I was 19 when he passed away. 20 years old, you in your mom's basement. It's time to he always told me don't get a job because you got everything you need. Don't go work for nobody. But, you know, when the beats ain't being sold and you gotta eat and you're not about to keep asking your mom for money or you know what I'm saying, not knowing where your next dollar coming from, you gotta go get a job. So found a job at the Goodwill warehouse. So I was working there. I was working there 2010 into 2011. No, 2010. I was working there. I think around I think around towards, I can't remember. This is the date I always get messed up. I can't remember when I got fired, but I got fired.
Mm-hmm.
I got fired because I wasn't reaching like the quota, of the day. So I got fired. And shortly after, my boy who was, just helping me like with music and stuff, Lou Torres used to look for shows for me. He used to help me with like my computer stuff. Um, he used to like get me interviews and stuff, whatever we could find to like
Mm-hmm.
push the narrative.
Right, right.
And at this time, my name was now Y Fame. So whatever we could do to push Y Fame, we did it. So he was on Craigslist looking for shows, whatever we could do. So he came across a show in New York at this spot called the Karma Lounge. And he was like, "Yo, I found this showcase. It's in New York though." I said, "All right, yeah, well, I mean, I do it." And at this time, I wasn't really making music for anybody else. I was making music for Apollo, but I really wanted to take myself serious as a solo artist, like Y Fame, the solo artist.
Yeah.
So this was really like my first show as a grown up me being a solo artist, taking it serious. Um, so it's like, yeah, I'll do the show. So we went and did the show. So we went up to the show. We went up to New York. We got lost. We got lost, and I basically said like, yo, if we late, man. And I just won't do the show. Like, forget it. And I remember, uh, my boy Emperor Goose was with me. So I told him like, yo, shout out to Goose. It's like, yo, if we late, we late, man. I ain't even going. I ain't even stressing it, yo. I just won't do the show. It's cool. He like, nah, like nah. We gonna do this show. Like we
That
gonna do
is
this shit.
so goose.
Like we gonna find this shit, and you gonna kill this shit. So
Mm.
um, so yeah, so we get to the spot. We finally find it. We get in the spot as they giving us our wristbands and stuff. We there for a few minutes, and the MC, like the host, he's like, he's on the mic saying, like, yeah, we got Casper Gotti here from Wonder Music, and I'm like,
Huh.
I don't
From
know,
where?
I don't know a Casper Gotti.
Wow.
So I didn't think nothing of it, but after he made that announcement, um, it called my name shortly after that, after him saying like, oh, Wonder Music has produced, some of the greatest records for such and such and such and such, and they playing Mary J. Blige, and they playing the Fugees, and they playing some Lil Wayne stuff, and I'm just like, uh, who, what now?
Who did what? Because I did not do that yet.
Yeah, um, so they saying like, yeah, we got a representative from Wonder Music here, Casper Gotti. Wonder Music is ran by the legendary Jerry Wonder and all that. So I'm just waiting for the MC to finish so I can perform my song. And I really just all of that stuff just went in one ear and came out the other. So when I perform, I block everything out. So I went up, I do my two songs. Two songs I did was Applause and a song I had called Self Made. And I did those two songs and I just bodied this shit. So I did really, really well. I did really well. And this Casper Gotti guy, tall white guy from Wonder Music, comes over to me and says, yo, I need your info after that performance. Like I need your contact. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I give him my number, and I thought we had CDs on us. We didn't have no CDs. They were in the car. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go get you a CD. I'm gonna go to the car. I'm gonna come back. He like, all right, cool. I'll be here. So we went to the car. Went to go get a CD for him because I had just dropped a project called "The Somebody Ish Nobody."
Yep.
And did two songs from that. So I went to go get one of those CDs and I gave it to Casper. So it was a dope little exchange. after that, we came back. We came back to Pennsauken, and the next day, Apollo had a video shoot. We were shooting a song called, I believe it was called "Be on Top," and we were at Popeyes. There was a scene that he was shooting at Popeyes, and I get a text from Casper Gotti. It says, "Yo, this Casper from last night. Listen to your CD. Shit's fire. It's so dope. Jerry Wonder wants to meet you. Could you get up to New York tonight?" So now me, I didn't know who Jerry Wonder was. So I did my research real quick. It's like, all right, let me look up Jerry Wonder. Jerry Wonder Duplessis. All right, cool. So I looked him up and seen all the records that he done. I'm like, oh shit, it's fire. Oh, all right. So I texted him back, was like, yeah, I can get up there. Not knowing how I was going to get up there. But I'm at Popeyes in Pennsauken, New Jersey. It's like he want me there at, what, 6:30? It's like 3 o'clock. And we at Popeyes. So I call,
And we at Popeyes.
I called Goose. I said, yo, remember homeboy from last night? He said, yeah. He was like, yo, I said, yo, he said, Jerry Wonder want to meet me or whatever. He trying to get up to New York tonight. You think we can get up there? And he was like, let me call Mo. So my man, Mo Lara at the time, we was all making music together here and there. He's a producer. So Mo Lara had the car. He was driving everywhere. So Goose hit me back, was just like, he was like, yo, Mo said he could take you. We can go. Let's go. He was like, what time you got to be there? I said 6:30, 7 o'clock. So they was like, all right, so we be at your crib at like 4. Mind you, it was like 3:30. So luckily, that was the last shot at Popeyes. So I got them to take me home. I got ready and all that, and hopped in the car, and we went up there. We got the Platinum Sound Studios, and waited in the lobby for like an hour and a half. So when we finally get into the control room, the main studio, and I'm having this talk with Jerry Wonder, and he's telling me like, yo, I heard the joints that you did last night, and I listened to your stuff. I think you're really talented. Like you're special, and I want you part of the team. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I didn't really understand what that meant. I didn't know what that entailed. I didn't know what he meant by I want you part of the team. So I'm just like, all right, cool. It's like, well, I always wanted to be in New York. So yeah, I'll come up to New York. So we spent a few hours there, and he pulls me into the live room with the piano and all the guitars and stuff. And he sits me down, was like, yo, I really think you special. I see something in you, and I want to sign you. Now, you would think, at this point, I'm 21 years old. I don't have a naive outlook on the music business at this age and all of this time, doing music. I don't have a naive outlook. Instead of taking it with a grain of salt, I looked at it as a thing to where it's like, all right, if he wants to sign me, I could do this. And worst come to worst, I could just tell everybody how it was and guide people on how to maneuver because the industry works this way, that way, and this way. So I was like, all right, cool. And, we was working on the paperwork for about 3 months. And I go to Goose's house and print out the contract after everything was finalized. We printed it out and I signed it in Goose's dining room. And then I was signed. Then I started going up to New York. And, all the experiences, they started coming. I started meeting people. I started meeting celebrities and, from seeing Busta Rhymes every day to, meeting Ashanti and then meeting Wyclef and just being in an environment, the environment that I knew I was supposed to be in. There were no starry eyes. You know what I mean? There was no starry eyes because I felt like I was supposed to be there already.
You were. You definitely were.
So, bunch of things they transpire, and that time was really enlightening for me.
Mm.
Very enlightening. Gave me a lot of foundation. Gave me a lot of courage. Gave me a lot of reassurance. It did a lot for me. It did a lot for me. It did. Beautiful relationships came out of that time. Beautiful relationships, like people that just genuinely care. Um, and then coming across people who only see, money, who only see dollar signs. I met both. I met both types of people. You know, but it was a beautiful time. It was. It was.
When you think of how enlightening that time was, what is the most enlightening and impactful either experience or relationship that came out of that period, that stage of your life, your career?
Mm. It would probably have to be. It would probably have to be. So uh, I met this singer songwriter. Her name is Cali Pop. I met her in this time. I met her because she had a meeting with uh, Saint Haraway from Republic Records. And I already knew Saint, but I didn't know Saint had a meeting this morning. And I was sleeping in the penthouse where she had the meeting, and I didn't know that there was a meeting. So um, the front desk, they call up, every time something's happening, it's like, hey, such and such is about to come up. I'm just like, there's no meeting. I didn't know there was a meeting. So apparently she had a meeting with Saint Haraway. And she, I tell the front desk, okay, give me 10 minutes. I got to get myself together. 10 minutes definitely didn't go by. And they sent her up anyway. So the studio manager walks her up, and she walks in. But then we just started chopping it up. We started talking and all that. And I played music for her. And Saint comes, and then she plays her music, and come to find out she's actually dope as fuck. So
Mhm.
um yeah, so from there we formed just like this unbreakable bond. It's like actually Saint from Republic Records used to call it Batman and Robin.
Mm.
Because she would come to the studio, and we would just create music. You know what I mean? Um but it was like it was dope because and that's what I mean about meeting people during this time that have like genuine love for you, and then meeting the other type of person.
Yeah.
This is one of the people that had a genuine love and care for me that came out of that time. And she was fresh in New York, and she only had been there for a little bit from Canada. You know, so we start spending a lot of time together, and before you know it, we was in a relationship, and it was just our thing was music. It was just music. We would just make a whole bunch of music, and it was a dope time. It was a dope time, you know. Um, but that's definitely one of I probably say that the strongest relationship that came from that time. These other people. There are other people that still check on me, and they guide me, and they help me with certain things.
Hmm.
And I'm super grateful for that, because when the deal ended, my relationship with them could have ended,
But it didn't.
but it didn't. So
Mm.
you
Which is a testament of your value, your beauty, your spirit. The fact that there was no signed paperwork that was going to keep people from having a relationship with you and caring about you. That's beautiful.
and that's heavy. That's something that speaks volumes.
It is. It is.
It speaks volumes. You know.
So I have a bridge I'd like to ask about. The bridge from Wonder Music to Bridgeport Studios.
hmm
What does that bridge look like?
It's maturity. It's maturity. It is. Um, it's pride. It's You know, it was so easy for me to let go of the name Wonder Music because I felt like it had to be laid to rest with the one that I came up with. I felt like it had to be laid to rest with my dad. You know, because he put so much time and effort into that with me.
Right.
You know, I just felt like it should be laid to rest. So I didn't have no problem. And, you know, it was dope that I could still rep it without repping it by being signed to Jerry's label. But as far as it being my label, I was ready to let it go a long time ago. I was ready to let it go when he passed. I held on to it for a little bit longer, but then it started to fade away. Now, after after the deal ended in 2017, I started to do a lot of soul searching, and I started to do the most personal work that I've ever done on myself. And it made me realize that I hadn't done much personal work at all
Mm.
on myself. Because if you asked me who I was, I'd tell you I make music. And you couldn't know me without knowing that I make music. There was no way you was going to know me and you didn't know that I make music. I wear it, you know? It's literally my skin, you know? Um, so, you know, you leave the deal and you up here. You know, you up on this pedestal, and it takes a lot of pride, it takes a lot of courage to take yourself down from here and put yourself, you know, on a lower level. And at that time I had so much, it's when the confidence was at its peak. You know, it was just like, you know, there's nothing I can't do, you know, and like, damn, I did it. Look at all this stuff I'm doing. I'm just up here, you know. Uh, and when things started to like leave a bad taste in my mouth, that's when I left the record deal, and I had to make that decision to step down and understand that my lifestyle would not be this for a while. Like, it's, you know, I had to say goodbye to that. You know, seeing celebrities every day,
Mm.
seeing, you know, having lunch with millionaires that could probably buy my life. You know, just seeing things that you only seen on TV.
Right.
Saying goodbye to that for a little bit, knowing that you'll be back on more of your own, you know, on your own merit. Um, but having to say, all right, I got to step down from this. Um, that forces you to do the personal growth, because now it's just you. It's just you now, and all of the stuff that you were suppressing, and all of that 7 years being a signed artist, you got to confront it now. You got to confront it now. Why you say the things you say? Why you do the things you do? Why why do you find yourself alone in a penthouse of $1 million studio crying?
Mm.
You know why? You know, you got to sit down and confront these things when all that shit ends. And it's difficult, and it takes a strong person to want to leave that life, because people hold on. People get into that life and they hold on for dear life. Like, they they like, nah, I can't like let this go. And although it wasn't all glitz and glamour, but you wasn't seeing the things that I was seeing every day. You just don't see those type of things every day. And to make that choice to leave that was, I don't even think some of my friends understand what I was leaving. Um, but at that time in 2017, it was time for me to figure out who I was as a person. Who is Lester Bridges Jr.? I don't know, but I'm down to figure it out. Whether that means more heartache, more pain,
Mm.
more tears, more anger, more resentment. I'm willing to go through it and get to the light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm.
So, coming off of the deal, I go straight into depression.
That was an interesting trajectory there, or a little dichotomy
Yeah.
action.
I go straight into depression. Um, Not wanting to make music. I went and got another job, but I tried to keep it. I I tried to keep it on the musical plane because I got the job at Sam Ash, thinking that I was going to be okay.
Mm.
You know, I'm just like, nah, like this ain't it. But what it did make me want to do was create music again. It did make me want to create music again. So I started making music again, and that music at that time was very, very, very personal and very diary journal like. You know, expressing my feelings and not saying things about certain people with those things that will never be heard, but writing them for me and recording them for me.
Right.
To just get it out, but not for anybody else to hear. So I'm going through that time. I'm going through that time, and it's crazy because actually you're about to get a couple things. It leads to the bridge. So I knew a guy named Joe Grasso from Columbia Records. He is an engineer and A&R. I met him through a friend of mine named B Hall, Barrington Hall, and he invited me to come up to Columbia Records one day, and I played him some songs. And he was like, "Yo, like you just so dope. Like, so what's your situation right now?" It's like I just left a record deal, and he it was him and two other A&Rs or three other A&Rs, I believe, and they asked me if I had management, so I say no, because I didn't have management. So they send me somebody, I won't say his name. They send me somebody to be my manager, basically. So me and this person, we start to get to know each other, and he is basically gives me like a list of questions. Your interests, where you from, what are you into, what do you do besides music, all of this. So I'm running everything down and answering the questions, because we're trying to put together.
The question, "What do you do besides music?" was on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was gonna say, was your answer nothing? But then I remembered you're like the best painter in all of New Jersey as well. So never mind. I take it back. I
It'd have been
retract that
crazy.
statement.
It'd have been crazy if I said nothing, right? But yeah, so I'm running down this list, and so he looks over the answers, and he calls me one day and says, "Yo, you ever thought about changing your name?" So I've been trying to change my name for the past 5 years. He said, "Oh, really? What would you change it to?" I said, "Well, I'd use my first name, and I'd use the name that my mom wanted to give me at birth." He said, "Interesting. What's that?" I said, "Lester London." He said, "Wow." So after that, we decided that it would be the name. We tried to find every variation of Lester something, but nothing worked better than Lester London. So we decided that that would be the name. So after we decided that would be the name, we start figuring out the image and what does Lester London look like? What's the character of Lester London? The character is me. It's just me as the person. Just things that I like and things that I do. You know, I wear turtlenecks. I drink wine. I like gold and I paint and I like museums and I like floral stuff. I like plants and I'm into the law of attraction. So it was basically just me, just exploiting myself, making myself a character. So as I'm building up this person, at the same time, I'm building up this character, but at the same time, I'm building up myself as a person because I'm starting to appreciate the things about me. So I'm like, okay, I want to make the music that's me. I want to make the right music. So I really got to learn myself and I got to go around asking people about myself. And I was doing that. Like, yo, so what's the thing that stands out about me to you? Meanwhile, I'm just trying to build a character.
Wow.
So it all intertwined with personal growth. Now, the Lester London thing, it felt so right because I wanted to honor my dad without having to say anything.
Mm.
You know, and a lot of my songs from the time that he passed away, I would talk about how I was feeling um, about him passing away, and I would talk about it a lot. And there used to be people actually saying like, "Yo, you got to stop talking about your dad in these songs."
Mm.
And I'm just like, "What? What, y'all? What you just say to me?" So yeah, but I think me changing the name was the balance between me honoring him and my music, because it seemed like that's all I was doing in my music was talking about him, talking about him, talking about him, which is not bad. It's just I just had a great father.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you know.
Sorry, not sorry.
Right. So I'm just like, all right, you know what? I'm a. This is going to be my name, and I'm gonna wear it proudly because it's my way to honor him without having to say anything.
Mm.
I have his name. I have his name, and now it's going to be. Now bringing it to the forefront, and now it's going to be. You're going to have no choice but to say my father's name.
You had
So
shared that with me before, and I really appreciate you sharing it right now. That's
that's
beautiful.
a
That gives
real.
a whole nother.
Oh yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So as you know, his name was Lester Bridges Senior. I'm Lester Bridges Junior. Now I wasn't really too sold on like the label thing anymore. Like it's like, yeah, nah, I don't really like want to label and stuff like that. But I started to get into like um business. So I don't necessarily want a label. I want a business.
Mm.
So I had met my friend. His name is Kyle Moken. I met him shortly after I came back to Pennsauken from New York, and he wanted to make music. Like we both just wanted to make music, you know. So he was like, "Yo, I'll pay you. I'll pay you." Like he first of all, he had his own business already. He had like a trucking company or something like that. He said, "Yo, I'll pay you several times a week just to come and make music." So I'm just like, "All right,"
Right.
you know. Um, I wasn't working at Sam Ash. I wasn't working at all. So
Right.
he was like, "Yo, like, are you working?" I said, "Nah." He was like, "Well, what I could do is I could bring you onto my trucking company, but you don't want to do that. I know you don't want to do that. So what I'll do is I'll just pay you to just come and make music, and we can just make music."
Wow. Who's this person that just straight up valued you for who you are and what you bring to the table and knew that you are greater than a trucking company? Who is this man?
It's my guy Kyle, man. My guy Kyle. I call him Cam. I call him Cams.
Mm.
Um, but yeah. So we started making music, and something happened with his trucking company to where he couldn't keep like paying me for making the music. So he had connections with another trucking company and was just like, "Yo, I'm about to start working for them. If you want some work real quick, like I can just bring you on board." So we did that, and we were delivering mattresses to houses. Just like that's what we were doing, like hopping in a truck and delivering mattresses, yo. Um, and then sometimes we would just make music. And then one day, I was over at his house, and we were creating. And I said, "Yo, I want to do something. Like I want to do like I don't know. There needs to be something to like house these beats, you know." And I was thinking about
Hmm.
was thinking about coming up with something. I don't know what to call it. I want to call it Bridge something. In the back of my mind, I had the whole name, but I wasn't sold. I didn't sell myself on it. It was just a thought, just floating. So for some reason, he says port, and I'm like, port.
Did you?
But I already had
Mm,
the port was in my head because of
okay.
the place
Oh, okay.
Bridgeport, and everybody knows back then I used to drink a lot of Taylor Port.
I was about to. I was like, did you
Look at that.
happen to be sipping teleport at the moment?
Nah,
No.
I stopped that a long time ago.
Just being silly.
But yeah, so I was like, you know what, yo, I was gonna say port, but it's the name of a place, and I ain't know like if he was like, no man, fuck that, like you should name it Bridgeport. I'm like, you know what? I think that's it. We just continued to make music, and I went ahead and got the LLC for it, and it became the company, and he's my partner in it, and we make music, and leading to getting the space. I had knew about this space for a year and a half, and I was just like, yo, I have to get this place. So being the jack of all trades that my mom is, she got into real estate. So she got into real estate, and she had access to this listing, and I had no idea that this was here. I thought it was just a hair salon downstairs, and you know what I mean. So she had access to the listing, and I'm just like, oh, this room, number 8. I want this room. So she let me know how much it was and all of that. This was about, I think about 2 years ago, something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. But I just remember staring at the pictures every day, like staring at the pictures. And she asked me one day, she said, you want to go see it? Yeah, that helps my manifestation. Yes, I want to go see it. So we go see it. We come in here, and it's just all white. It's just blank. It's a blank canvas. I'm taking videos. I took videos of all the rooms in this building, but for some reason I just kept looking at 8. Number 8 had two sections in it, and I knew those 2 sections were gonna be a lounge and a main studio. And that's the idea I had for it since I saw it. And I just kept looking at the picture, just kept looking at the video. I'm just like, yo, I gotta get this. I didn't know how I was going to get it, but I knew I was going to have this. I'm like, I'm going to get in here. I'm going to get in here. Everything else is honestly a blur.
So while everything else might be a blur, I feel like I'm still stuck on 5 minutes ago because there's part of this that was very clear. I said it out loud. Who is this person that just jumped into your life and knew that you deserved to progress in this way, knew that you deserved your own thing, knew that you were bigger than a trucking company? Kyle, just me and you for a sec.
What's going on?
Just between Kyle and I. Ava, nice to meet you.
Kyle, nice to meet you, man.
So he brought up your name, and of course, as you know, he spoke very highly of you. I would like to know from your perspective, sir, what do you see in Lester? What do you see in Lester London that caused you to support him and encourage him the way that you have?
Lester is like the definition of like trials and tribulations. Like when you see somebody, and like when he first messaged me, I think it was on Instagram. It was a couple years ago, and it was just like, "Hey man, I see your work, like what you're doing. Let's link up." And I saw his Instagram, and I was like, "Oh damn!" Like I didn't even really meet him, and I just automatically knew just based off his content that me and him were gonna vibe together. You know what I mean? And then we met in person, and there's only a select few people I think that really know about the basement, and being in the basement and making music in that
The
basement.
basement, yes.
And the first day we met, we really just kind of talked, and I don't even know if we made a track that day. I think it was the very next one, and literally in like 30 minutes we had a track together, and I was like, yo, this guy he's the best. I never saw anybody work that fast but produce that kind of quality sound and music. And it was like he knows how to manifest not just whatever he wants but whatever you want. Like, he took whatever was in my head,
wow,
and was able to just make it come through the speakers. And I was like, I don't even know if he explained it better with his track than I did trying to explain it to him. I was like, this is what I want. He was like, no, I think this is what you meant. And I was like, that's it. Like, how did you do that? and that kind of skill, it's like, it's not just about being a producer, but it's also about being a really good listener. And me and Lester had this conversation a little bit ago, and I said, like, watching you grow, I already knew you were going to be successful, but you really found your niche. Like, you're settling in to what it's going to make you like reach that next level, and that next level. And the studio now, I mean, I wish I could be more active and more present in certain things, but man, he's taken it to a new level. And like you might see on some of his posts, like, you can't ignore the glow. It's everything about what's going on right now is just radiates success.
Radiates success. Radiates. And that is why I needed you on the Mirage podcast to tell me a little bit more about the light that this man radiates. Thank you so much for being able to hop on at such short notice.
No problem. The hype is real.
The hype is real. And for the record, Les, I had to do it because my words are never enough. I'm just one perspective, and there's so many other people. And I had to be sure to showcase, like, it's not just me out here making sure that you shine bright.
Look, I'm just not. I'm humbled, man, because it's just like I'm like, it's wild because when I first met Kyle, and I didn't know what the hell we was about to do. I just knew that I saw his Instagram, and I'm just like damn, this guy could really fucking rap. Like, he's rap really good. Like no, for real. Like, rap like really, really well. And then he was playing the drums, but then he was playing the guitar. I'm just like, yo, this is like everything that I like. I love. See, it goes back to my mom, that jack of all trades thing. I love that. And when we finally linked up, to find out how technical he was, like, this wasn't just like he understands like the math of the music, and that's something that I never had. First of all, I'm not good at math.
Period.
It's just a feeling thing for me, but at that same time, I was also saying to myself, like, I wish I knew more theory. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that he came and just like, yo, this is some names I had never heard of before. Some things I heard of, but some things I had never heard of before, and it was just like the technicality of just everything that he knew was just like, damn, like, how the hell do you even know all of this?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was like so much information. So I don't know, man, but it was just, I don't know. Like, you can, spirits don't lie, so it was the spirit that I felt, and it was just like, all right, like, yeah, like, if I do not take a liking to your spirit, if I meet you once, that's it, that's it. It's great to meet you, but peace, you know what I mean? But nah, man, we just really, we clicked and we linked, and it was just like, and every time we link up, we do something great. Like, all right, so this one day, and so actually, ooh, wow. So we linked up one day. I believe it was 2018. Was it 2018? It was July 10th.
When did you and Kyle meet?
We met, when was that?
It was June or July of 2018.
Yeah. I think it was June of 2018 because you had came back through on my dad's birthday, July 10th.
Yeah.
And I had on a Coca-Cola tank top with the Coca-Cola hat, and we made this beat. Right? Shit was dope, and it came out very, very, very fast. I took the beat up to Jersey City, so I was staying up there for a while. I was staying up to Jersey City for a while, and uh, the artist that I told you about, Cali Pop, she had this relationship with this other artist named Cali Technis. Now we were at our homegirl's crib named Pash in Jersey City. So we all linked up for this session, and I played a beat that me and Kyle did.
Mm-hmm.
So I played this beat, and automatically they was like, okay, that's the one. That's what we writing to. That's what we doing the record to. Like no question. So I'm just like, oh, all right, I don't gotta make a beat. All right, cool. We can use this one. Cool. And it was like, normally, depending on the artist, if I don't want that artist on that beat, I'll be hesitant and I'll probably say no, let's make something from scratch. But because I had confidence in all three of these artists that were about to be on this record, it was like, oh yeah, let's go. Like let's do this.
Wow.
So we did the song. It came out dope. That was also quick and organic and spurred a moment. So that record winds up being a single on Cali Technis's project, and she winds up performing the song in Montreal at Jazz Fest in front of 40,000 people.
What?
40,000
Kyle,
people.
you're a celebrity now.
I was at work, and mind you, he forgot to tell you that when we made that song, I had a guitar that was literally, it was missing a string, it was beat up, it was out of tune, and I played what I played, and I was like, let me run that back. And he goes, nope, that's the final take. That's it. I'm like, bro, I don't like it. He's like, I don't care. It's fire. I was like, I don't like it. And I was so mad. We just kept pushing through it. And
wow.
And he'll tell you, I did not like it at all when I left there. When I left that house, I was like, I don't like this. Like, so Lester
This is
did his magic.
crazy.
He did his magic, and I didn't even cut to like a year or whatever later. I forget how long it was. I get a DM in my Instagram, and it's a crowd of people singing lyrics to this song. I was like, that's the one that me and him made, and she's doing that thing where you hold the mic out and everyone's singing. And I was like, I got goosebumps. I was like, what the hell? I never, from the basement to a song me and Lester have a video. It's on his Facebook of me and him just making this song in his basement, just, messing around with ideas. And, cut to almost a year later with people know the words. I was like,
word for word.
Crazy.
At Jazz Fest in Montreal.
Right.
40,000 people singing the song word for word. And I was there. I was there at Montreal, and I'm on the stage. In the back of the stage, just watching everybody sing. We made this beat in 10 minutes.
Yeah. That was the crazy part.
I was jumping up and down. I couldn't contain myself. It was such a beautiful feeling. The amount of adrenaline, no drug can imitate. Yo, it was wild. It was a wild feeling. It was a wild feeling.
Having fun. We were like, hey, you want to do this? We were already doing something before, and I forget what it was. And then we switched gears, and we were like, you want to do something new? We're like, yeah, let's do something new. And just started making something for fun. It wasn't like we have a deadline and we need some money and we got to do this or that. Like, it was literally just the outcome of like two dudes that enjoy each other's company, like making music together. And you can almost kind of feel that vibe, like when me and Lester make music together. Like it's very quick and it's very like powerful the way me and him. He knows. I'll be like, hey man, can you do this thing on that? And he's like, I'm already looking for that. Like I'm already doing it. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. And he's like, hey, do me a favor, do this chord and do that. And I'm like, bro, that's what I got it unmuted, but I'm working on that right now. And it's like you go into this space like when jazz musicians play music and they're communicating with the music. It's almost like kind of like an art form when we are in the studio making stuff together, because it's almost like it's happening in real time, live and quick, almost like a real song being played. And it takes no time at all. And it was just like we've only because of life and our schedules, we've only really done it a few times. And I remember the other one it was right after Nipsey Hussle passed, and we got in the studio, and I was like, man, I got something like I just needed to write. I need to write a song, like, and we just put together a little track. We called it Rip to Nip, Rip to Nipsey, whatever. And it wasn't like a Nipsey Hussle type song, or whatever, but it was just like the way I was feeling at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was whatever I needed to, express. And anybody that plays music will tell you, like, sometimes something happens and you just like you get a feeling that nothing will get that thought out of your head or make that feeling go away until you express it. And for musicians and producers, it's musically. And I think, what was it, Ari Lennox? Whatever, you sent her some tracks, and it wound up being one of the ones that she had, I think, pointed out and that she had liked or something along those lines.
Yep.
I don't remember 100%. And again, it was just like, we just got together. I was like, I got to get something off my chest. And we just made some, and like I said, it takes somebody like Lester to be able to take whatever you're feeling and be like, all right, let's put how you're feeling onto, into sound. And it was great.
I appreciate the direction you're going in with that. And forgive me for my lack of eloquence, because the feeling I have right now, I'm overwhelmed by, and it's going to be hard to put into words. But everything you just explained comes back full circle to what you said, Les, about connecting with another person's spirit. This is still about the higher power trip, higher self.
Right.
This is when you are that aligned with yourself, your spirit, when you are able to open your mind and your heart to the spirit of another person and see that that connection is viable and see that something productive can come from that connection. These are clearly the kinds of things that happen. That is evident. So it's like Les had just got finished explaining how the birth of Lester London, going from fame to why fame to Les, that came along with knowledge of self, and it was its own spiritual journey to finally put that much weight and understanding into when he did recreate himself as this artist. And to hear you just acknowledge your spirit, Les, and the decisions that you made with it and the connections with people like Kyle. I'm just like, I'm sitting on the sideline right now and I'm floored. I'm not surprised that all those special things have happened. Where two are gathered, that's like a religious biblical thing, but it's true. Where two people of like mind and like spirit are gathered, God is present. So thank you for being able to hop on at such short notice.
Oh yeah, no problem. I hope I didn't take over or nothing. I know I can talk.
No, please.
No, it was perfect.
Because it was my natural inclination. He was like, Kyle had a trucking company, and I'm saying, he was just like, yo, you want to get on, but I don't really feel like that's what you should be doing. And I don't know, Kyle, what you do and don't know about the beginning of Wonder Music in the Basement, but Les and I go back to 2007, and Noonie and I were the first two girls that were a part of his label. So going back, yeah, man, yeah. So going back that far and hearing that somebody like yourself was there to support Lester unconditionally, that just put me in this frame of mind of like, oh, who's this new person that loves you as much as we do? Yes.
It goes beyond music too, because like, man, when we were struggling, like we met. It's not like we met and things just got better. Like, I went through some crazy shit. He went through some crazy stuff. We worked together. We were delivering mattresses. We were doing crazy. I mean, it was not fun. We were breaking our back.
Thank you. I just put two and two together. I just remembered conversations, Les, between you and I when you were doing that job. It was either when you were doing that job or immediately after. But I remember who the Les was on the phone with me that was like, I'm doing this stuff, man. You were like, I'm trying to stay humble. It's humbled me, and I'm grateful for that. But
yeah, we went through some hard stuff together. And even in a short amount of time, it's like I'm glad we had each other to fall back on, because it's like I got a brother, but it's like more than a friend with Lester. Like we're like family together. We don't talk every day. We don't talk every week. I just had a baby, so we're definitely not as in contact as we was. But as soon as you told me to hop on, I was like, hell yeah, I'll do anything for Lester. Like anytime he ever needs something or whatever, like we're always there for each other. And I know he's got my back too.
Word.
So it's like that's why we're in this for the long run.
Yeah.
Amen. Woo! Preaching, y'all. Well, congratulations on your new bundle of joy as well.
Thank you, sir. Again. No, but listen, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate you, bro.
Anytime, man. You got it.
All right, y'all. Yeah, man. That's dope. That's
I
dope.
just, yeah, that was like, who is this person? Where is this person? I need to ask this person my damn self.
Yeah.
And like, if I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see, like you were on solo layout. Look, you you were here, and I was on my phone. I was like, Kyle,
Yeah,
Kyle,
that's
I
crazy.
finished my notice.
That is
I
crazy,
just
yo.
this is the Mirage podcast. I just need for everyone's spirits to be amplified. A friend of mine, a DJ, said yesterday, and I put it up on the story. Society is moving further toward technology and further away humanity. And no, I have a huge problem with that. So while technology is the reason, one of the many reasons that you have gotten ahead in the way that you have, while your parents have supported you by getting all the technology in the world that you've ever needed, and you have worked your ass off to get any other technology that you needed to make the music that you make. Yes, I know it's a necessity, but we can't let it be so much of a necessity that we get out of touch with what is happening inside.
Right.
So
Right.
the
Absolutely.
time that you've taken to just stop and sit today and just speak from inside, I am floored. I am humbled.
Yes. And I appreciate this time because the more that you express
Mm,
um the more that you express your growth and you look back on how far you came, the more grateful you are for it, you know. Um
mm,
and the more grateful you are, the more you receive.
amen. That's
So
inevitable.
yeah.
You receiving anything is inevitable.
Oh
You
man.
are liked. I would like to know what 2007 Les would say to any aspiring artist. And then I would like to wrap up with what 2021 Les would say to any aspiring artist.
2007 Les will probably tell you to if you have something in mind that you can't go a day without thinking about,
Mm.
um, you should probably take all of your energy and put it into that. Because 2007 Les had a work ethic and hunger that was sickening. Very, very sickening. Is that a notepad?
You hear my pen click?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he would say that. I feel like he would say that very aggressively. He probably wouldn't say it as calm as I said it just now, but
No, because he was too busy being angry short bull from Philly.
yeah,
Yo, you can't
right.
stop thinking about that shit. Go do it.
Right, exactly. That sounds like him. Young, aggressive, less. Oh man, he got some things done, man. Now, did you say 2021 less?
2021 less. After
Um,
everything that 2021 less just went through in 2020, regardless of the state of society, you built your brand and you continue to do so. You invested in yourself and you continue to do so. 2020 did not get you down. What would 2021 less have to say to any aspiring artists?
set your intentions.
Mm.
Set your intentions. Decide what you want. Make sure you know yourself, and go every waking moment giving the energy towards what you want. Um, and please know that there's no getting around hard work. No getting around it. There's no getting around hard work. You cannot get what you want without putting in the hard yards, yo. Like you have to work. You got to put. I don't care what phrase you want to use. It putting your pedal to the metal, put your feet to the beat, put your foot to the ground. I don't care what you use. You got to do all that, yo. You got to buckle down. You got to do all that. It's going to take work, and you're going to go through some shit. But as long as you have set your intentions and you put all your energy towards the thing that you want, you will have it. As long as you genuinely believe that you deserve what you want, you'll have it.
It's yours already.
It's yours already.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours already. And damn, man, just yo, I don't know, man. Just don't take this shit so seriously. Don't take this shit so seriously. It's hard, but you have to work hard. But you also have to know when life life is still going.
Mm.
You know, life is still going. Don't lose yourself in what you do. You know, what you do is what you do. You still are a human being. You know, get to know yourself and love yourself. Learn to love yourself. And once you start to learn to love yourself, you start to learn how to love other people. And once you stop letting yourself down, you stop letting other people down. And that was one of my main focuses for last year, to stop letting myself down. I would set a goal, tiny goals, and I just wouldn't do them. You know, no matter how difficult or easy they were, I just wouldn't do them. And I noticed that pattern, and I wasn't doing nothing but letting myself down. So as soon as I realized that I was doing that, I started to work towards not doing that, because you can't just, it wasn't a. I'm not saying that you can't, but it wasn't a quick switch for me. I had to give myself small little tasks and assignments and complete them and make the assignments bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm.
This studio is my greatest assignment. I passed. So now I got to look into myself to see what the next assignment is. And I came this far, so I'll be damned if I fail. I'm not about to let myself down. You know, so yeah, man, do that personal work. Do that personal work. Decide what you want. Make sure you know what you want. Work towards it, because you can't get around the work. You know, but also do the personal work and live your life. So that's what 2021, let's say, to up and coming artists. And don't follow the damn crowd, yo. Chill out on that.
Definitely.
That too. That was a little bit of '07 less.
We got back and forth. Let me end by saying, every and any conversation I have ever stopped to have with this man, there have been gems upon gems upon gems. You never cease. You never cease to encourage those around you, whether you realize you're doing it or not. Those around you are absolutely noticing, paying attention, and being encouraged and inspired by you. So thank you for doing the work, doing the inner work, showing us who you really are,
Yes.
because we love you and we need you. We need that.
And I appreciate y'all just letting me be me,
Amen.
because that's all I'm gonna ever be. And that's definitely one of my passions. I love to motivate and inspire. If I could just do that all day, I would. I'm actually trying to find more ways to do that. Because what's the experience if you can't share it, right?
Well, I love some of your last few posts where you made a point to do that, where you're essentially cussing everybody out that follows you. That is a wonderful, wonderful vehicle to use. So your efforts are not going unnoticed. I feel as
Okay.
though your willingness to do this podcast, a big step, the stories that you've told, and now knowing, started from the bottom, now you here type shit, that is bound to inspire and motivate anybody who listens. So
You started from the bottom. Now you're here. Because I remember when this was just a thought and this didn't have a name yet. So I'll say to you, I should say to you that I'm proud of you for what's it, season 3 now? That's like how'd you get here? Happened like that.
I got here because Lester London told me worry about my own car. And I said, you know what? I will. I have called this man crying over some stuff. Like, I think I know who I really am, but I'm not allowed to be who I really am, and it's killing me. And Les has been on the other side of that phone call, like, all right, so. Les on the phone, like, all right, so baby step. What's the first baby step we can take towards you being who you know you really are? Just start playing the guitar a little bit every day, and just start thinking, praying on what the name of the podcast should be. And if you want to talk about it, I'm here. What is this life we're living, and why are we so blessed to just have one another? It's beautiful.
It is a fruitful life and a life of abundance.
It is a fruitful life indeed. Yes.
Yes, quite fruitful indeed. Good time. I'm proud of you for keeping at your dream. Because people don't do that. They get scared. They get intimidated. People don't start. That's a big problem with people. Just start. Don't worry about how it's going to look 5 years from now, 2 years from now, a year from now. Don't worry about how it's going to look. Just start it. The fact that you start gives you enough fuel to continue it to 5 years. You have to start it though. There's nothing without a start.
How can you continue something that you never begin? You've always encouraged me to be an artist, and you know that I have felt my entire life that I was not allowed to be that. And you said, nah, that. I'm gonna put a little beep on that joint. That'll be my first time editing a beep in. You said, nah, that. I feel like you've always seen me for who I truly am, and that in itself is another one of your many talents.